Hey, this is Bonnie. I wanted to show you my technique for editing a baby into a digital composite or a digital backdrop when I've shot the baby on a brown blanket or on the brown cover on the Perfect Posy. For this one, I'm going to be compositing this baby into this antler bowl. And a lot of people have asked me when I would shoot or use the brown and when I would use the white wool blanket. Basically, I use the white wool blanket when the digital backdrop I'm using has the white wool to place the baby on, or something very similar that I can blend into. I use the brown when it's something I don't have in the studio. Like if I had a similar texture color blanket to photograph the baby on, I would have done that, and it would have made the Photoshop job a lot easier. But since I don't have anything like this, and since this is a darker backdrop, I shot him on the white wool, and I shot him on the brown, and I'm gonna show you how I composite him into this backdrop. First, I want to kind of get rid of this. I want to make a solid backdrop. It's going to make it easier for Photoshop to find him in select subject, because I want to use select subject. If I did it right now, it would just select this whole little beanbag pod. It wouldn't really find him. So I'm just going to make this kind of loose selection around the edges of my Perfect Posy here. And then I'm going to come up here to select, and then inverse, and that selects everything but what I just drew here. And then I'm going to go to edit, fill, and I have this set on content aware, and hopefully this will give us just a more solid backdrop so that when I use the select subject tool, it'll find the baby for me. There we go. Perfect. I'm going to hit Control D just to deselect that, and I can just crop in a little bit here. And then I'm going to come up to select subject, and hopefully that'll give me a good selection here of this baby. It doesn't have to be perfect, because I can adjust the mask in just a minute. Then I want to go to an adjustment layer. I want to make a curves adjustment layer. So I want to make sure he's selected, and I'm going to hit the curves adjustment layer. Now this created it with him not masked out and the rest of it masked out, but I actually want the baby to be masked out. So I'm going to click on that mask right there in the layers panel, and I'm going to hit Control I just to invert that. So now he's masked out, and anything I do to the layer is going to affect the rest of it. Go back to that curves layer. I'm just going to bring this out so y'all can see it. And then I'm just going to grab with my cursor and left click here in the middle of the curves and pull that down. And that just creates the background, makes the background black. So I can use that for my shadows. And I just want to go in. This actually, I think, made a pretty good selection. I just want to go in and make sure that I just click it on and off a few times to make sure I have everything I want. It's easier with a baby that doesn't have a lot of hair. If you have a baby that has a lot of hair, you got to go in and make sure you get the little hair strands. But I think this looks okay, just like this. I'm just going with a black brush and just getting a little bit more of his head and his hair. Oop. I think that looks okay. There's a little spot here where the fur was on him from the brown blanket. I'm just gonna touch that up a touch. And then I'm going to, I think I'm just going to save this so I just have a copy of it. And I'm just going to just add the word black to the end of it so it just makes another copy. And then I'm going to go, well, let's save. I'm going to go to my backdrop that I want to use, and I'm going to go to File, Place Embedded, and I'm going to find that black one and double click on that to bring it into my image here. Then I'm going to just eyeball it and put them in the bowl. Hit the check mark, and then I'm going to come make sure his layer is selected here and turn the opacity down so I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. I just want to be able to see him in the bowl. I'm going to hit Control T. It brings back up that transform, so then I can kind of play around with it, move him around to put him where I want him in the bowl. And then I'm going to use, I'll bring it up just a little bit, bring the opacity up just a little bit. I'm going to use the Quick Select tool here to select him. There's different ways to select him, but this is just a quick way for me. So I have him like roughly selected there. I'm going to make a mask, and then I'm going to bring the opacity back up. I might make him a touch bigger. Hit Control T again, and then you can just like grab on the sides of this this transform box here. So he's on there, but it basically just looks like he's just floating above the backdrop. So I'm going to use the black that I created to create some shadows. I want to try to copy the shadows that are here in the image as much as I can. So I'm going to go to a soft brush, a white brush, and I'm going to start at about 50% opacity, and I'm just going to slowly bring the shadows in. And if you mess up, you can always switch to a black brush, or you can go to your history panel and just go back. So on this side, I want the shadows a little bit darker because obviously that's the shadow side. And then I do want a little bit of shadow on the light side because I want it to just give a little bit of dimension, like he's sunk into that bowl a little bit. But I'm going to change the opacity of my brush to about 10 or 20. And I'm going to paint some on this side. Still don't really like his position. I'm going to just move him a touch. There we go. Just trying to center him on that bowl. Alright, sorry. I'm going to go back to my white brush at about 10% opacity and just bring in some shadows on this side. And I just go slow. I think I'm going to come out and just blend it out just a little bit. And I think that's looking pretty good. So then I'm just gonna flatten the image. I like to put a contrast layer, or I use a lot, I use the Greater Than Gatsby newborn actions a lot for certain things. I really like her moody contrast, and sometimes if I use just you can also just do a contrast layer. I like to just like put some kind of action or some kind of little finishing touch on it on the whole image. I feel like that makes it a little bit more of a cohesive image and makes it look more realistic to me, to my eye at least. So I'm just going to run that. It's Moody Contrast, Greater Than Gatsby, Newborn Actions. That just gives a little contrast pop to the image. And I'm going to just lower the opacity of that. And I like that little finishing touch. And then I'll flatten it and save it, and that's it. Thanks for watching.